Mike's Daily Podcast.
Are you happy at home, just curled up with a book, listening to Mike's Daily Podcast? No, that wouldn't work.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I can't read and listen to a podcast at the same time. A little bit of music, a little bit of wine, maybe a little brandy sifter as I'm reading next to the fireplace. Baz's little boxer hanging out, and my lovely lady friend's face is next to me. Because we don't care
Mike's Daily Podcast
about social distancing. We're like right there next to each other. Because
Mike's
we're family.
Daily
I got all my sisters
Podcast
and brothers with me. No.
Yeah!
No, don't have that, but I do have my lovely lady friend. And yes, she and I are both considered essential, what we do. I'm in the media. She's in the health profession. And we're both needed. And she's working, I'm working. And we're busy. We're very, very busy. And it's interesting because I work with someone and we're really busy. And he instructs me to do things, right? And yesterday he says to me, I think we're being cavalier about this whole COVID-19 thing and showing up to work. I'm like, okay, do you want me to just stay home? I'm getting mixed messages. What are you saying? No, I'm just saying we're, being a little cavalier about this. And I heard the word cavalier a couple of times. And I felt like one of the musketeers. I thought he said musketeers, and I was going to go, oh, ho, ho. But no, we did not. I'm just trying to go, okay, well, if you want A, you have to do B. And he's a very smart man. He knows this. It's just, and I think this is something underlying in probably all businesses is, yeah, we have to work if we're essential, but we should stay home simultaneously.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Which you can't do. I mean, you can work from home if you have that luxury. Some places can't do that. Here we are at Cafe Anyway, and we're all social distancing, all these people here behind me. All about 80 feet away from each other. By the way, I talked to radio.com, and I mentioned to them, hey, my show isn't playing on your app. And some nice person named Alex, now that could be a guy or a girl, could be a man or a woman, could be gender fluid. But Alex said, you know what? We tried and we can hear it. We are hearing you, Mike. Basil's like, I'm hearing you, Mike. Do you know what Basil and I did yesterday? Well, other than take a nap, this is how my life has gone with Basil. He and I used to walk everywhere, every day we walked. Every day, and I've talked about it on this podcast. I've been podcasting almost as long as I've had Basil. And now he can't walk. So what we do because he's almost 12. Is he 12 yet? He's almost 12, I think. And he's up there. And he can't walk. But he's still very happy, still very playful. He played with my lovely lady friend and I last night. I actually was able to throw him a ball and he was munching on it. But the thing is now we nap together. Now we walk in our dreams. Aww. But I should have had a sound effect for that, huh? Now we walk in our dreams. But there is this dichotomy going on in the world with, we got to get work done, and then we can't. Well, now, in Italy, it's horrible. And I heard something today, just as it made me go, huh? I do this about every day now when I'm hearing about the COVID virus. I do, huh? About 20 times a day. And yesterday I was hearing that Mexico has such few cases of it. Maybe they're not being reported. You can come up with your own theory and let me know at 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily isn't what this podcast has been now for quite a few days. I'm very proud of myself. I haven't been interrupted. I got interrupted for over a week, and that annoyed me. But apparently, the newest thing that I did not know, Italy has the worst case of the virus now. They have more than China had, more infected people. More people have died of the virus in Italy. And here's the interesting thing that I heard today is that they may have had the coronavirus since November. They have had it that far back. I didn't even know about this thing until early January. But they could have had it as early as November because people have been getting pneumonia. I don't want to go into too many particulars, but I mean, it's so bad, like they're running out of coffins. It's that bad in Italy. I don't know if you Google Italy right now about the coronavirus. It's terrible. But hopefully we don't get to that. That is, I think, what's on the back of the mind of Gavin Newsom saying, hey, California, stay home. But in Italy, it's martial law. It is like you cannot leave your house. The reporter, is it Sylvia Poggioli for NPR? She's been with them for years. She said, and she's always been their Italian correspondent, always talks about like when there's stuff going on with the Pope or with the government. But she said that what's fascinating is now you don't hear streetcar, the city used to be honk, 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 and all the sounds of buses and everything. Now it's just birds. As we're going to hear as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast today in Podcastro Valley, Mont. So it's interesting that the earth is reclaiming itself. It's interesting that in the end, nature, which the podcast picture is showing a little bit of nature, and it was the beginning of spring late last night. And there's some blossoms for you that I took this picture yesterday in Fremont. You can see it at mikesdailypodcast.com. It's interesting how it's reclaiming itself, and it almost reminds me of that David Byrne Talking Heads song. There was a factory, now it's all covered with flowers. You got it, you got it. We're outside now. See, it sounds like this now in Italy with all the birds. Cynthia was saying, or Sylvia, Ms. Poggioli was saying that there were some people going out. But it is martial law. It is enforced. And I think it's the same in Spain. But here in California, Gavin Newsom said, listen, the governor said, don't go out. We're not going to... He was fuzzy on how it was going to be enforced, but basically, please stay home. Unless you're essential. You can still get groceries. And that's good. And then there's let's see what else. That's about... How far are we... I think I'm going to wrap it up today. I think I'm going to go home early today, as a matter of fact. We're going to... Hey, I see my coworker Mike. He's made it to work. He does not like coming into work, though, with this whole thing going on. But good for him. He's toughing it out. We got to tough it out in today's world. Here's some interesting things I didn't know. There are positive news, positive things to remember about the coronavirus. Speaking of corona, speaking of beer, what we used to think of when we heard the word corona, or the sun, is that I hear beer. That now distilleries of different types, beer, booze of some kind, are giving out free wipes. I guess they make the wipes themselves. I haven't tracked down this story completely, but I heard this a little bit yesterday. Also, all the food delivery companies, like Uber Eats, DoorDash, what's that other one? Oh, Happy Wheel driving person that puts their hand in your food as they drive it to your house company. They're all doing free delivery, I hear. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, just remember, don't take revenge on me.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. You think about that.
And if you have that dish served cold, please have it delivered by your local door delivery Uber thing. Now, to wrap up the show, let's say hi to a couple people. We are all social distancing ourselves from each other. How does that make you feel? Social distancing? We are social animals. I have these conversations with my lovely lady friend. this is a good thing. You need to have these kinds of conversations with your loved ones. That your good friends. Your spouse should be like your good friend, your partner. And my good friend said, hey, what's happening with all this social distancing going on? Isn't it affecting our psyche slightly? Or are we taking advantage of the myriad of ways we can contact each other with FaceTime on Apple? I forget, Samsung's got something with their call similar when you call someone, or the Google Android OS stuff. So, did I say Google? I should throw this sound effect in real quick because I haven't done this.
Great googly moogly.
Now, just think about that though. How is your psyche if you're being quarantined? I spent yesterday watching YouTube. In my free time, I watched the Yesterworld channel. This young kid, he is like obsessed with Disneyland, and he has gone into all of this backstory about Disneyland that I did not know. And he makes these very well done videos, very hilarious. He throws in these little clips from all these movies. Like he'll say something like, oh, and then Walt had to say goodbye for the last time to his, because he died, I think, was it of lung cancer, I think. And then they showed a clip of like Titanic where Leonardo says goodbye to the woman. What was her name? Was it Gwyneth Paltrow? No, the other one. I'm forgetting all my British actresses. Gwyneth Paltrow's kind of British. Or she acted British in that Emma movie. But I digress. A lot. So what happened was, so if you watch this Yesterworld thing, he does it on all these, like a lot of stuff at the Disney World place, Disneyland, gets into like certain rides that get revamped. And for example, there's this one ride at Disneyland, this big riverboat. You go down this river, the Rivers of America, I think it is, and you see these animatronic animals, and then you'll all of a sudden see a cabin that's burning to the ground, and that apparently has been there for years, decades. And it used to have a guy, like a dead person, lying on the ground with an arrow in his back. And the narrator would say something, oh, you gotta look out for those Indians. And, they got It's interesting, though, they took it out in the 70s because that's when we apparently got very woke. We got woke in the 70s, all the way back then. So if you think, oh, I invented woke, no, you didn't. And then the other interesting thing was I forget the kid's name that does this, but he also went into movie sets that have been abandoned and are still, like, now historic places, historic landmarks. For example, Popeye, not the chicken, but Robin Williams, the first movie he did was Popeye, a live action version of it. One of the first times we did live action versions of cartoons. It did not do well in the theaters, as I recall. I remember I went and saw that with my dad. But there's like this little shanty town, and in it, there's Robin Williams singing a lot as Popeye. There was also, what's her name? The girl, the woman from The Shining. Shelley Duvall. So, but when they were done with the movie and done with the set, when they left, they painted all the little houses they had. They left the houses there, and they painted them all gray, and said to the town, I think it was an island. They said to the island, the governor of the island, listen, you can do whatever you want with this. We're out of here. And the governor repainted the houses. It is still a tourist destination to this day. Also, from The Fugitive, the Harrison Ford movie with Tommy Lee Jones, that won a bunch of awards, I forgot, Academy Awards. There was a stunt scene where Harrison Ford jumps off a train before it blows up and collides with something. They left that train on the track, and it's up somewhere in the Smoky Mountains and in the Appalachians, and you can still see it apparently and go up there on tours. So all these interesting different, the Star Wars set for Tatooine apparently is still there. So I watched video after video after video of this stuff. It was fascinating to me. And I thought, I wonder if I'm not the only person chain watching YouTube one after another. And it's very... So, however, I know millennials love watching YouTube. In fact, I was turned on to a lot of YouTube channels through different millennial friends of mine. But are millennials being cavalier about the whole thing, about going out into public and drinking at places like in Florida? Florida's had to crack down on the whole spring break thing because there were so many teenagers and young 20-somethings still hitting the bars, and they're like, no, you guys are standing too close. Social distancing. Remember, there's a pandemic going on. And I heard this one old guy complaining about millennials saying, if you're being cavalier about it and you think, oh, I'm going to catch it and I'm going to be fine because I'm young, remember there's old people like me around you and I could catch it from you and I could die. So just keep that on your conscience and in your consciousness. Look who's out here, standing very far away from me. Hello, Michael Mash, it's Madame Rootabega and I am not sick. Oh. Do you want me to stand even further away? Yes. Do you want me to, like, put a full-on suit, hazmat suit for you? Yes. And do you want me to dance a jig? Yes. Okay, I guess we can, because we really didn't get to. Because of, well, what was that thing? St. Patrick's Day. We didn't really get to enjoy St. Patrick's Day this year. So. Oh, that's nice. Do you want me to stop? No. Oh, look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, I think we're gonna get out of here because all these people freak us out, and you can't seem to stand far enough from these people.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you know that? How far is enough for social distancing? How about as far as it takes me to get to my house and lock the door? But thank you so much for stopping by. Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mott today, episode 1998. 1998. I slightly remember that year. I think, was Ricky Martin about to come out at that point? Not out of the closet, but out of the... There, I'm back in my house. Everybody stay away from me. Was that Fiona Apple? No, that might have been a year earlier. Was that Alanis Morissette? No, that was a couple years earlier. Alanis Morissette. Bare Naked Ladies? Maybe. Fastball? Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer. You can call me at 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast will try to keep doing, because you're at home, maybe stuck listening to me. Oh, and you can not watch me, but you can listen to me on YouTube as well. Take it away, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!